Happy Hump Day, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSperts, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. For the first time this week, I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. We took Monday off. We let the inmates run the asylum, if you will, on Tuesday. But I'm going to be honest, Andy, I was pretty impressed. I thought Dan and Matt did a pretty good job. Maybe you and I can take more vacation time.
Yeah, I got some vacation coming up here. I look like I didn't realize I haven't looked at the camera. I look like I'm going to paint a house right now. I, I'm not wearing the white pants just because I don't wear pants when I'm at work. But my goodness, I look silly right now. I'm just all I got. It's a free shirt. I did the fun run. Fun run. I did a
Was it
1K.
fun?
No, fun runs are not fun. It's running. Like my
Oh,
daughter wanted
why?
to do a 5K, and I'm like, we'll do the 1K with your little brother and just walk, and that was nice. But yeah, it is nice having you back. Monday did kind of stink. There wasn't any NBA nor NHL, and that's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles when you have these longer series and you get deeper into the playoffs. Such is life. There was still some baseball and soccer. I should look at my what day was that? What day was Monday as far as dates?
The 16th.
So 16th of May. It looks like I still was able to bet on I bet on some baseball from somebody. Smitty, who we had on the deep dive the other day, I bet his Hutter. He laid the handicap. I just took the straight up three-way money line on Huddersfield, and then I did some live betting on some baseball. So despite there not being sports, I made apparently 9 bets.
It's pretty good.
I might need that phone number. Fuck it. I won money. I don't care. So we'll get there. Exciting NBA action last night, despite the kind of weirdness that popped. What was it, like an hour before the game? How far out do you think that report came? Was it even an hour?
It felt like less. And again, I wasn't maybe totally locked in at that point, but the smart stuff was a little bit earlier in the morning. Again, if you're watching a Celtics game, follow Dan Lifshatz. He's on top of all that stuff. He's locked
Yeah.
in Boston media, and he put out the smart stuff a little bit earlier in the morning. But yeah, Horford, that seemingly came out of nowhere. And been talking to some guys in the chat this morning, Clive, especially Clive Bigsby. And both of us are going to wait and see what happens. I mean, if Horford plays that second game, I might start to accrue some Celtics positions. But if he's out, I mean, you're looking at the Celtics down 0-2. Maybe I'll just bet them then. It seems really bizarre. I don't know where, again, all this stuff sort of came from. But Al Horford is, honestly, in my opinion, more important than Smart. I think they can win this series without Smart, but they need Horford.
Yeah, that was surprising. And Drew put me on the -1.5 the other day when when we did our smorgasbord on Monday. So I guess I made 10 bets on Monday. One just didn't cash until last night, but so it was nice to have some CLV. It was fun to have the team down by 10 early, and I think down at halftime. I'm not even sure the halftime line was a Heat win. I think the Heat were a underdog to even win the game in the second half
Yeah, the
at the
second half line
halftime.
was close to a pick 'em, I think.
Yeah, so
Might
it
have
was
been one or
nice to
two.
it was nice to see the Celtics just kind of good job to Spo. I mean, good second half adjustments, whatever you want to attribute it to, the fact that they were undermanned. So good job to the Heat. I'm gonna kind of wait and hear what the NBA chat's consensus is. The plan was always, hey, the Heat are really live to win this game before the COVID stuff. And we talked, like I said, on Deep Dive, we talked about maybe if the Heat win game 1, we take some Celtics positions and the series on the championship, whatever you want to do. Little skeptical that that's the right plan until we hear more news. So it might just be a sit with your hands in the pockets, not do anything if we're going to have no Horford for a couple more games. But yeah, like you said, if people are coming back, I might be in the same boat as you. Do you have any futures out of the four teams that are live yet? Do you have anything living?
A Golden State to win the championship ticket from much earlier in the year is the last one I have. Unfortunately, the Bucks falling apart was not very good. But
No.
yeah, my last futures left is Golden State to win the championship, and we'll talk about that series in a second. I maybe don't feel so great about that one either.
I was going to say my only future left is Golden State to win the West. And it is a plus number, so it's better than what the series price is right now. And again, referencing our NBA conversation we had the other night with Drew, I said, and I guess I'd love your opinion on this too. My choices, I gave him three choices. I said, do I buy out I can win 40% of my stake because I have plus 150 and it was like plus 180. Said, do I leave it alone, just ride it? Do I play Mavericks plus 1.5 games at like evenish to try to middle it? And his choice was none of those. He said, wait after till game one and let's pull your bets up because it looks like you're kind of the same mind. This would be a dream scenario for me because, like I said, I could hedge out and get 40% of my stake as a free ROI. But man, if the Warriors win game one, which was Drew's advice, and then I can take some Mavs on the way back, I could probably guarantee myself 100% of my stake back.
That's right. Option four. We went through A, B, C. I present you option D.
Yeah.
I like this series for the Mavericks. They've really coalesced nicely since picking up Bertans and Dinwiddie at the deadline. Dinwiddie gives them so much more versatility in the offensive end. Bertans has finally gotten comfortable and been that dangerous three-point shooter we know him to be, who spreads the floor for Luka. It's a really tough matchup for this Golden State team. We look back at that Sun series and the way that the Mavericks decided to lock in on Devin Booker, knowing that Chris Paul wasn't playing so great, knowing that DeAndre Ayton would really struggle at that point. I think we're going to see a lot of that. That Mavericks team is going to load up on Steph Curry, and that means we're going to need a big series from Andrew Wiggins or Klay Thompson or Draymond Green or some of those guys. And Jordan Poole specifically is someone that's been great, but I worry about him defensively. The Mavericks really did a great job in the last series of attacking certain players on defense to get them off the floor, and I think Jordan Poole is going to be kind of their whipping boy here. I mean, they're going to go after him quite a bit. We'll see how he holds up. But Golden State is at home tonight. They're 5.5 point favorites, which makes sense to me. I mean, if I look at kind of some regular season numbers, Andy, I'd make this game Golden State maybe -6.5, almost -7. But the playoffs tend to be a little bit more subjective because you have to look at what these coaches are able to do in adjustments. And one of the biggest surprises is how good Jason Kidd has been. I mean, he's someone that we thought would be a negative throughout the season, but has gotten much better and has made a lot of good adjustments. I still like the Warriors tonight to win the game, and we've made this bet a couple times. And basically, just looking at it, I think if the Warriors win this game, we're going to see the Maverick series closer to plus 400 in the market. So happy to go grab plus 500 right now. Now, you have to put that together with the likelihood of the Warriors winning, but it just looks like to me that the implied price, if the Warriors do win game one, is going to be not nearly as good as it is built in here. So I'm going to grab that for plus 500. And another thing I love to do, if the Mavericks are going to win the series, they've got that last game on the road, game six, to close it out. We see that happen time and time again with these teams now. Short memory. We look back, it didn't work out, for the Celtics Bucks series, but I guess if the Bucks close out, it does, honestly. But you look at this game, the Mavericks, I think, again, they close it out. There's a chance that they lose this game one, but make some adjustments, and this might end up being a pretty quick series. If Luka Doncic can stay healthy and keep playing well, if they can continue to find the defensive combinations that have been working, this Warriors team is going to be pretty limited when Curry's off the floor. So I like the Mavericks in this series, and I agree with Drew's advice. Just wait to see how game one goes, and then you can jump on Dallas.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at we're at the point where there's not going to be likely any days where we have both NBA teams playing, right? Maybe on the
No,
weekend if they want to have a party about it, but take advantage of
no, it'll
prime time.
be
So
one game a night.
and I guess we have two hockey games. I'm not saying I live bet hockey last night, but I live bet hockey last night. So there's just not a lot going on right now. So it's like, hey, the Avalanche are down 1-0. Maybe we should do something about that. Got lucky in overtime, so always nice to win a bet. I'm not sure. I didn't make very many yesterday, but I don't think I lost any last night with that one coming through. So congrats to Heat, the Tyler Hero assists, and the Avs live 3-0 day for DJ and Andy. Good job. Um, Congrats to anyone else who jumped on the Heat early. If you listened to, got lucky, they outshot the Blues 54-25. I know, but overtime is a crapshoot, Matt. You know that. Like, I really do think I looked at the stats. Yeah, they should have won in regulation. They hit the post a trillion times, but once you go to overtime, all bets are off.
I mean, don't hit the
Yeah,
post.
yeah. Just don't hit the post. Just aim it the
Who
other
cares
way.
if you shoot more if they're not good quality shots?
Yeah, Matt. We're talking about shots that go in, but yeah, Avs should have won that game by a lot. They were. I kept looking at the stats. I'm like, man, they are peppering them. Maybe they'll just score here eventually. That'd be nice. So, PGA Championship starts tomorrow morning, 8ish Central. It is a
Nice and early.
Central, maybe a little earlier. Actually, there might be some 7 a.m. tee times. It is a Central standard time tournament down there in beautiful Tulsa. I just said beautiful Tulsa. I don't know if it's beautiful. I'm sure it's very nice. I've heard some good things about some of the restaurants down there from people on the ground. I'm gonna have more bets. I made some outrights already over in the Discord. This is one I wrote up earlier today. It's going to be in a best bets article, free article we put over on BetSports Golf. I bet Mito Pereira top 40 last week. I'm just going to do it again. Like I saved ink by reusing the headline, and it's a tougher field. It's a tougher course. But honestly, I was being kind of a wuss last week betting him top 40. I said, I just need an easy winner here. I should be betting him top 10, top 20. He ended up T17. Probably should have ended up higher. He looks great. He was off for a little bit with some injury. That was kind of making me a little tentative, but he looked great last week. He looks fine. This guy, yeah, the Red Lobster in Stillwater is the hot spot. If anyone doesn't know that story, Victor Hovland loves Red Lobster, so like he
I wonder
just
if Shooter
goes to
McGavin will be there.
goes to a yeah. Shooter McGavin went to the Red Lobster. That weird
Well, he
guy with the
didn't.
bug. Oh yeah,
He
that was
bailed
just
on
a
him.
joke. He kept bailing on him. But yeah, Mito top 40. Just a really good ball striker. I'm fine with that here. He's more accurate off the tee. He's not super long off the tee, long enough, accurate enough, and I just think he's definitely going to be in play. I almost played him outright, but I did kind of say that a couple times this week already, where I said I just can't take some real long shots here for the outright. It's not something I feel good about at this tournament with this field. There's gonna be a lot of top 40 plays for me here. So
Yeah.
um yeah, slower greens here than in Texas. I think he's gonna be fine putting on the bent grass again. Plus 115. FanDuel had the best price in the legal books. I'm shopping it at places I can actually bet right now. And we'll move on to some tennis because it's kind of an exciting time of year. Clay season's one of my favorite seasons.
I love clay
European
tennis.
European clay season, not South American. That's you can have that. I don't hate it, but I much prefer these stretch of European tournaments. It's been fun so far, and it was funny again from the deep dive we got to talking about Medvedev as someone, and Drew kind of poo pooed it when I brought it up, and it's funny that Brett in the chat right away said, well, he has to let's see if he can beat Dickie G first. And then Gasquet ends up straight setting him yesterday. So there are not a ton of people who are in great play form outside of the very top of the men's side. And on the women's side, there's just a behemoth who's crushing souls right now.
Yeah, the men's side. I guess the most interesting part of the men's side is Andy. Rafael Nadal is not the overwhelming favorite to win the French Open for the first time in what seems to
Our
be a decade.
lifetimes, yeah.
I mean, it's Carlos Alcaraz. That's going to be really fun. But again, the men's side's going to come down to Nadal, Alcaraz, and I mean that Novak Djokovic guy. He's someone you should probably never count out in best of five. But all of a sudden, we have just this incredibly dominant presence in the women's side. She's won 27 matches in a row. She's only lost 4 sets. Yes, 4 sets, not matches, 4 sets since March. It's just an absolutely staggering run for Iga Swiatek. And kudos again to Dan and Matt. They did a good job yesterday. And it's something I sort of joked about in a tweet, but not really. I've been going through and trying to take Iga. Our sponsor FanDuel will let you parlay Iga to win the French Open with a bunch of little stuff. And I've got some things put together, and I'm going to add another one here. I like all the parlays the boys gave out the other day. Let's see how Matsuyama does. I think it's a great, take your favorite golfer, put her with Iga this week. I'm going to take her and put her with the Mavericks to win the series. Again, I've made a case for the Mavericks to win the series. I think there's a lot of value in that number. And then this is how I'm going to try to bet Iga, in the French Open. I
I
don't
say
know if there's
Iga.
value in her number at minus 110. I'd probably have her honestly closer to minus 125. So maybe you could just bet the minus 110 outright. But I'm going to try to put it together with some stuff, see if I can end up with a portfolio that gives me a little bit of a bigger number, and then maybe cover myself for some of the bigger shots I'll take once the draw comes out later today.
Yeah, so is the draw today or is it tomorrow?
It's this afternoon, I believe.
I couldn't quite get it's hard to find this info on that, and then also you have to do a big time difference too, because it's always it's 7 p.m. Like I'm pretty sure they're talking Frenchy time. So yeah, either today or tomorrow. I I swore it was tomorrow though. What day is it today of the week? Is it
Today
Wednesday?
is Wednesday.
Okay, I'm not 1,000% sure, but I did
It
kind of
might
want to
be
talk about
tomorrow.
that too.
I was
Do
talking to a
you have
European about it. Might have already been Thursday where he was.
Do
Mm.
you have that's fair. Like or it's an Australian. Yeah, it's today. Well, today's Thursday for you, mate. Um do you have a lot of quarter prices up at the books you use already, or is that something you don't see until after the draw?
Yeah, quarter prices you won't see till after the draw. At this point, you'll just have outright prices. And again, the top of the market is Ego. She's pretty much minus 110 or somewhere in that range, just about everywhere. And then, as we talked about before the show, and I know you guys talked a little bit about on the deep dive, and you and Drew talked about the second and third women probably in order should be Halep and Bedosa, which I think you're seeing most places right now from a pricing perspective. But I just don't know if there's any value in them. And the other problem
Oh,
is when they the way they do the seeding, and one of the ways that you can attack these lines and get some value before they do the draw is to look for some of the better players who are seeded because they're a little protected because what they do is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds are all in different quarters. So those women, regardless of what quarter they end up in, are going to be the best player. But you look down someone like Halep, whose ranking's fallen a little bit. I don't think that she's going to get a top four seed here in this tournament. Now, I think they do a little bit of an adjusted ranking for the French Open based on clay. So maybe she does back into a top four seed, but she could end up in a spot where maybe she's in the same quarter as Iga, maybe she's in the same quarter as Bedosa or Zachary or somebody like that. But you start to look through at some of these better players. Again, I think you get all your Iga money in now in case she gets a bad draw. Bedosa is someone that will get a good seed, so she's right around 12 to 1. That's pretty close to where I'd have her number. Maybe just a little bit of value in that, but I'm going to wait and see where she gets put. Again, if you like her, I think you grab her now in case maybe she gets stuck with somebody that's tough in her
yeah.
spot. But she'll be one of the seeds. It'll be solid. But yeah, as you look down the list, Zachary has performed well in some of these tournaments, but doesn't seem to have the top end power to beat somebody like Iga in these big moments. So you're just going through the list to try to see who can at their best in their best day in their best moment possibly beat Swiatek, and maybe we'll have some Sabalenka stuff. But wait till the draw, see maybe where some people get some nice easy stuff and we'll have some quarter bets. Otherwise, go back and watch the show from yesterday, grab the Iga parlay, and if you got something you like, let's see if we can build up a little portfolio on the Polish powerhouse.
I found some EGA plus 150 on Monday, which felt good. It was
That's
not there after I bet it. Like they're just like, oh, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have taken that bet. Like it's plus 110 now, and I think it's minus 110 there now. Minus 125 at bookmaker. Bedosa 1750 at bookmaker right now, which is off market. I feel like from the stuff I've seen.
that's concerning when bookmakers off market in
Yeah,
the wrong way, if
it
you will.
is, but at the same time, people like Bedosa, Zachary, Sabalenka, maybe even and Ons Jabeur. Those are kind of the names I've written down as far as I'm going to look at the draws once they come out and see if there's some quarter prices I can get early. I think quarter prices are something you got to pile on early. Some of those where it's a
Yes.
good name that gets a nice draw, those are going to get hammered in a hurry. So quarter prices to reach the final, exact final matchups. I think there's going to be some places that have like, you know, exact finals result where it's like we have I got to beat, I got to beat Zachary in the final or something like that. So you'd get a bit of a basically a parlay and a prop. Some of those look at stuff like that, but I'll definitely be on some quarter prices. And once we have a draw, we'll we'll
Get
dig into
jiggy with
those.
it.
That'll be some fun. So Sabalenka is kind of your girl. We'll have to. Well, hope she has a good draw. I'd like to see her go deep, just because I like uh, I like watching a strong woman strike the ball like that, and she
She's
is
somebody in,
strong as
and
fuck.
And she's someone, as I talked about, you have to consider who has the top end ability, really. And Sabalenka is a perfect name. We've seen her do well in some of these tournaments. And, you don't think of her as a great mover, but when you're on slow clay, movers do well, but also power hitters. There's an advantage to being able to actually hit through the clay and hit winners when all these other players just don't have, the strength, if you will, to hit those kind of shots. So I'm with AD on this one. I'm going to wait and see kind of where she gets put. But I like Sabalenka at 21 or better. I mean, or grab a little bit of that now. Maybe I'll grab a little bit more of it later. But yeah, I like Sabalenka quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, if she's on the opposite side, I might just play her to reach the final. 'Cause I still don't know if I want if it's like 20 to 1, and I have to have her win a bunch of matches and then play. You know, where's she from? Poland?
Belarus.
No, no, no. Schweitek.
Oh, yeah, I guess is from Poland.
The Polish powerhouse. I needed a good nickname for it. Then I'm not as interested in that. But to make the final, that's a fun one. So all right, well, one of these days we'll figure out when the draw is, and after that, we'll definitely come back with more futures. I love having a big portfolio of futures for a major like this. Men's side, I'll probably have some stuff too, as there's going to be, and like Patrick said in the chat, the men's draw is very consequential too, as far as how things add up. It's going to be how soon are we going to get, you know, Alcaraz versus Joker again, which I don't care when we get it. I want to see those two play best of five, because that is a whole different ball game. We'll get into that later this week. Quick thanks before we go to our sponsor, Profit Exchange, who we retweeted the other day from the VetSports account. They had some stuff up where it was lines from the baseball games for that day, basically comparing what they'll have to the other players in the market, and I mean it was like a 4 cent straddle. It was very low vig stuff. So if you're a price sensitive shopper in the New Jersey market, get signed up, hit the link in the show notes, get yourself the best promo deal, because not only will you be getting crazy low vig prices on the exchange, you might as well take advantage and get some promo money when you sign up and make your first deposit at the book Profit Exchange in New Jersey very soon. Hit the thumbs up. Alex, glad to have you back. We'll see you Friday.